Issam, hello, sir. How are you?
Afternoon, Sean. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. However, I believe it's hotter in the UK than it is in Madeira right now.
Yeah, I don't know what has happened. Maybe, Sean, you've been having word with the gods, but in the last few days, it has turned to be really hot. Not complaining. Long may
No,
it stay. Yeah,
absolutely.
long do it anyway. So, yeah.
Most definitely. Thanks for today, mate. I appreciate you carving some time out. I know you're a busy man. Always got a lot of things that you're working on. So, yeah, I'll just keep it very sort of informal. The purpose of today really, Sam, is to just highlight your time that we've spent working together and talk about where you were, talk about where you are, talk about some of the key takeaways. And yeah, we'll keep it very sort of conversational. But before we get started, it'd be great if you could just introduce yourself and tell everyone who is watching a bit more about Issam.
Yeah, sure. No, my pleasure, Sean. Thank you. So, hi, everyone. I'm Isaam Battle. I'm 32 year old, working in an IT industry as a professional. Been in the industry for around 10 years. Um, Achieved a base level of success, but wanting to learn more about myself and wanting to challenge myself further to utilize my experience in the industry. And from a personal front, I've been wanting to be more present with my family on the weekends and holidays, and that was the key two things that before joining, Sean, your program, these were the things that I was really looking to achieve by working with the coach.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I remember it like it was yesterday, our first. There was a couple of conversations because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you went away. You went away for a
Yeah,
few days, and
I was in
what was
Vegas.
that?
Yeah,
Where was that?
that was in Vegas. Yeah, distant
Yeah,
memory now it's a bit blurred, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure whether to share it or not, but yeah, you were away in Vegas, and I'd sent a couple of messages back and forth. And when you came back, it was like, yeah, let's do this. And yeah, that was something you specifically wanted to sort of focus on was
Mhm.
that sort of balance. So I'd like it if you wouldn't mind to just share a bit more about that. So talk, cast your mind back to a few months ago now, but cast your mind back to how things were before you started working with me.
Hmm. So yeah, as I alluded to, it was working in the industry. Things were at a base level of success in terms of what I was achieving and doing. But you don't know what you don't know. And at that time, just I think it was on one of the weekends, I was speaking to my wife, and we said, surely there's more to it. There's more to learn. There's more to tap into. So I remember signing up to a portal and picking up a phone and calling different coaches. And one of the coach, thankfully for me, was yourself. And yeah, straight from the phone call, how you came across, Sean, the questions that I had, and what I felt after hearing to the responses. And mind you, there were, it was a tough gig. There was 5 or 10 different calls that I actually made, and for you to be able to, satisfy what I was looking for, that's credit to you. But I think the true journey started afterwards. But I think the initial engagement and how you came across, that really resonated well with me and gave me the confidence, because at any time when you're starting to engage with somebody new, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know, um, is this going to be of substance, because it's the investment from my standpoint.
Mhm.
But again, how you articulated your responses to the questions that I had, and I can only look back now, as I've shared with you towards the end of the program as well, that my thought process, my perspective has vastly changed. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, and I wish everyone who is actually listening can actually tap into that data point and make sure they can actually reach out to you and discuss whatever they're going through right now, because they need to take that leap of faith.
No, thank you, man. No, I appreciate that. And hey, I didn't know there was that many people. So I'm honored that you chose me out of 10 people. So thank you for that. But yeah, I think a couple of things. I mean, you and I have done some great work. There's been sessions that I've gone over. You're always one to sort of always ask questions, and always be curious and always trying to figure out, and what else can I pull from this experience? And for me, those are the clients that get the most out of coaching. Anytime I invest heavily into a coaching program, a mastermind, a mentorship, I'm exactly like you. And I think that's why we got on so well, because I'm always asking questions. You know, I'm always trying to find out more. And I really like that about you, because as a coach, you're kind of, as a client, you're a coach's dream. And I'm being sincere here,
I appreciate
that I will share something with you and you will take it, you'll share it with other people, you'll share it with family members, you know, you'll implement it, and then you'll come back and say, hey, I did that thing you shared with me. This is what I've learned. And when you work with clients like that, it makes your life a lot easier. It makes my life a lot easier, because I know anytime you have a question and I share an insight with it, you don't just go, oh, yeah, it sounds cool. You actually implement it. And that's half the battle, right?
Absolutely. And I think there's been right from the get-go, as I said, there's been so many of those. And I remember, my extensive note-taking as we're going through the sessions. And I think what really resonated well with me, Sean, is just, yes, there's something as part of the structured program that you have, that we go through that journey. But I think what I really liked is whatever I'm experiencing day to day, again, tapping into the Slack community, asking you questions and having access to yourself directly. So in any typical coaching setup, you are pretty much waiting for that hour to engage with the coach. But for me to have that ability to potentially connect with you at any time, I think that was one of the key things that really stood out, because then I'm able to tap into all of that expertise and all of that experience that you have. And initially in my I would say the first 2 weeks of the program, that really helped me settle well into the program as well, because then I could engage, I could ask you questions, I got to know more about yourself. And also in the Slack community, again, for any new person listening to this, I think it's brilliant, the setup that at Sean Holden Coaching that you have, Sean, around any new starters coming in, getting access to the on-demand learning, getting access to the Slack community, able to message in between the community members and yourself as well, and then separate focus sessions that's placed. So you always feel involved and engaged, so you can actually apply the learnings from the session, and then it becomes ongoing learning and the ongoing application of everything that you're learning. But yes, initiative has to come from you, because as the individual, as a client, you've taken that leap of faith. You have chosen to spend that investment of yours to make it count. I think there's plenty of tools, there's plenty of resources, and in a structured way that you've put out there. So yeah, I think it's definitely full of value.
No, I appreciate that. That brings a smile to my face. And yeah, as much as as much as I feel I can add value and help clients, it's ultimately down to them. I'm good, but I'm not a magician. They need to implement the resources and the tools. So yeah, you've been someone who has always done that. So I appreciate that. In terms of, you just mentioned then the online portal and whatnot, have there been any key takeaways, and I know you and I could sit down for half an hour and go through these, but has there been any, in fact, let me change the question. What's been the biggest takeaway from your time working with me?
Yeah. Wow. I would say every session, again, to go through my notes and everything, there's a lot. And sometimes we just take, to your point, a little advice that's actually been shared in a conversational manner, and you don't know the impact of that. I've actually seen in my professional career, the anecdotes, the examples, the frameworks that are actually shared in the on-demand learning and through our sessions, what you've been mentioning. I've applied it to my work colleagues. I've applied it at home in my personal life, just to and I've shared those examples with you, right? For me, right from the get-go, what has been standard is, as part of the self-sabotage program, the self-coaching model that has really made a huge impact. And it's, again, there's no point me having all the ammunition and don't know how to use it. So it's the explanation that came in the sessions around different aspects of the self-coaching model, and through the on-demand learning, understanding the cognitive dissonance and what does it actually mean. And initially, I'm not going to lie, initially when I saw the content on the portal, I was like, whoa, some heavy words there. But the way you actually explain it, it just makes sense. And before you know it, after actually learning through all of those sessions, as you go through the chapters, you look back and you're like, oh, because it's actually supported by assessments, you can actually truly understand what those results mean for yourself. And I thought that was, again, that was brilliant for me to relate whatever I'm learning. How does it apply to me, to be able to discover more of myself so I can better understand myself to bring the changes that I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I love hearing, as a coach, as a business owner, I try my best to create something of value. And I have no problem sharing this with anybody, is that I'm always trying to improve all of the time. I am always thinking, okay, what else can we do? How else can I support clients? What other resources, strategies, modules, exercises, etc. can we offer? Which is why I am constantly investing in my own sort of personal development. And just being sat here listening to you talk about the program, what we've created, what we've designed, and all of the resources and things. Yeah, it means a lot. It really does mean a lot. So thank you for being very transparent and sharing all of that. I know it's good. I know that it helps clients, but when you hear clients tell you it's good, it's completely different.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. And it's easier for me to just speak from this side of the fence purely because I've gone through the experience. I've had the ability to tap into all of the good stuff that you have actually cultivated over the years of your experience and knowledge, and you've actually packaged it in such a way that it's easier to absorb. And that's an art and a skill in itself. So yeah, to any of your future prospective clients, if you're listening, I will certainly advise you to get in touch with Sean. Doesn't matter at what stage of life you are in. I think, yeah, there's certainly a lot of value that the individuals can actually tap into. I've certainly seen a big shift in my life. I remember our first session where I'm like, "Oh, Sean, on the vision call, I want to identify my values. I want to identify my goals." Come to session 12. Us talking about, wow, we have actually gone past those things in like after 4 sessions. So now we are in a different trajectory, focusing on different goals and me understanding myself better.
Mm-hmm.
Then my questioning, and I hope you've actually seen that, but my questioning has improved in terms of the direction of my travel of where I want to be in the next 5 years. And I never knew that. I think it's fair to say, before joining the sessions, before choosing to invest in coaching, I was pretty wayward. I was stagnant in terms of where I was at in life.
Yeah.
To then now, I actually feel I've got that extra energy in me in terms of just focusing on anything. And as you start to go through the self-sabotage program that you put together, you start to review your assessments and results. You start to truly understand the limiting beliefs. You truly start to understand what's really holding you back. And in most of the places, it's actually yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but there's a lot of tools, a lot of resource for everyone to tap into, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me as well, it's a lot easier to solve problems we're aware of. And that's, of course, where the assessments and things come into play for us to become more aware of these problems so that then when they happen in the future, because they will, it's not a case of, oh, you never think in this self-sabotaging way ever again after working with me, as much as I'd like to say that. But what you do have are the tools and the skill sets and the resources so that when it happens again in the future, you can combat it and navigate a way through it. And yeah, that's really nice to hear. You mentioned then, and by the way, I appreciate you mentioning about any future, clients that are wanting to sort of invest in themselves and work with a coach. I appreciate that. And one thing I like to ask at the end is, Sam, is there are a lot of people I speak to on a weekly, daily basis that want to work with a coach, but they're a little apprehensive. So let me ask this. What would your advice be to those people who are apprehensive of working with a coach?
I would say go ahead and take that leap of faith. You don't know what you don't know. And there's a reason, especially with my experience of Sean, and hopefully, you can actually hear a lot of the touch points that I've actually shared as well. The value in having that coach in your life. I remember even on the first session, I asked this question to Sean. Sean, do I need a therapist or a coach? And I didn't even know the difference. But for you to actually explain it, and I think this goes a long way. Finding the right coach for you needs to be the right personality match, right? And I think I've seen Sean yourself interact with the other members of the community on group calls, and even on one-on-one basis when there's only like 3 of us, right? In those focus sessions as well. And I think, yeah, you've certainly got this skill of making people feel comfortable, but coming across authentic, and it comes from a genuine place of interest. So I think these are some of the soft skills we call it, but I think these are key skills which are important to partner with somebody and to choose to put those investments in. So I would say, yeah, definitely coaching can make a huge difference in your life. And anybody who's actually not sure about it, I would say just take that initial leap of faith, have a phone call, choose to invest in yourself. We all, if I look back at my expenditure in the last 2 years before joining the sessions as well, I could easily pinpoint the things that I've chosen to spend my investment on. Even if you take a small percentage of that in yourself, there's a lot of difference that you can make to your life and to the people around you, maybe at work, maybe in your personal lives. And there's a lot to be said about it, to a point where after this session, after the coaching piece, I feel now confident and comfortable, where my why is at, where my values are at, where my goal is at, and moving forward, how can actually, using my why, how can I actually make a difference to the people who are in my network.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned there, Issam, which really sort of lands with me, is when you do take that leap of faith and invest in yourself and make these changes, it's not just you that benefits, it's family, it's people at work, it's, maybe children, that benefit from this better version of yourself. I certainly have seen that within myself, when I am making these positive changes, the people who I love and hold dear, they get to see that benefit too. So yeah, I appreciate you answering that in a lot of detail. And whether this video makes people reach out to myself directly or whether they go to another coach, that's great. Ultimately, I want to be able to share the power of coaching. And I think, as you said there, you hit the nail on the head. The coach has to be right for the individual. And I always encourage people, you'll know this yourself, I always encourage people, go away, do your own due diligence, take the time, spend time with other coaches, because it's someone you're going to spend a lot of time with. So, that relationship has to be right. So, yeah, thank you very much, Isaam. I appreciate your time. It's
thank you,
a pleasure, as always. And I'll see you soon. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sean.